Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And yeah, I cannot believe the connections to Citi through Ripple. I just spent the whole day basically deep diving in on Citi and all of the connections. There's a lot of PDF files that were actually deleted. And apparently Bank XRP, which is also another individual around this space, has done a ton of research for going all the way back to like 2017, 2016. Basically, he said that one of his tweets regarding a Citi PDF file mentioning Ripple and an experiment that they did with Ripple and XRP, it got flagged for copyright and it got removed, going all the way back to like 2017, which I thought was very interesting. But nonetheless, today, this is a tweet from Anthony Welfare, who is the CBDC strategic advisor over at Ripple. And this is an event with a whole bunch of fintechs and banks. And we do see the gold partners here are Ripple, FinShape, CMS, Alpha Bank, TBI Bank, and Citi. And he's saying we are joining the Unchained Festival for a second year, meeting some of the most innovative and exciting banks and fintechs. I said, interesting to see Ripple and Citi right next to each other after Ripple just acquired Medico, who is partnered with Citi. Probably nothing, but it is still very interesting. And yes, technically this is probably nothing, but the other connections are definitely something in my opinion. So let's go over here. So shout out to Cowboy Crypto 313 as well as Ray Fuentes over on Twitter. And we do see Citigroup also happens to be invested in Nubank, who uses RippleNet. Check this out. So this is Citi. This is their acquisitions and investments. Nubank, $650 million post-IPO debt. This was April of 2022. Over here, FX Street, Warren Buffett backs RippleNet's Nubank while SEC versus Ripple case drags on. This was October of 2021. Over here, Bex's Pay, a Ripple user, has now announced yet another partnership bringing Ripple remittance services to over 54 million Latin American users. Bex's Pay will now be in charge of transactions made through NuPay, Nubank's online e-commerce payment system. This means that Bex's Pay will act as a payment intermediary for Nubank's 54 million customers. And he's quoting Ray Fuentes, and we do see friendly reminder, Citibank partnered with Swiss bank Medico back in June of 2022 to employ Medico's bank-grade digital asset custody platform called Harmonize. Fast forward to today, Medico is owned by Ripple. And I did just include this in a video from like earlier yesterday. And it's crazy, right? It's wild. But then also over here, so shout out to Kevin Cage. He's posting this article. I actually made a video on this article. This is Visa, Microsoft, and others join Brazilian CBDC pilot. Back over here, we do see Ripple partner Nubank is also involved in Brazil's recent CBDC pilot. Check this out. Central Bank of Brazil selected 14 select institutions to participate in the pilot of the digital real, the country's central bank digital currency. Published Wednesday, the list includes major local private banks such as Bradesco, Nubank, and this is Unibanco, Tau Unibanco, I hope I'm saying that name right, as well as the largest public Brazilian bank, Banco de Brazil, and the local stock exchange B3. Very interesting. And also over here, again, here's that same announcement of Warren Buffett backing RippleNet's Nubank. Ripple-based remittance is now available to 54 million customers per new Bexes. And also over here, Buffett-backed digital bank, Nubank, to launch its own cryptocurrency in Brazil. Very interesting. This was October of 2022. Mind you, we also know that Ripple has made a ton of noise in Brazil. Remember, Travelex Bank, there's also been other discussions around Ripple actually being utilized for CBDCs within Brazil. But this announcement from October of 2022 is wild because essentially this is, again, the digital bank, Nubank, to launch its own cryptocurrency in Brazil. Shout out to Cowboy Crypto 313 for this as well. And here's the announcement. Also, we do see Brazil's Itaú Unibanco joins Ripple's money transfer network. Then also, Brazil's largest private bank, Itaú, selected by central bank to develop a decentralized finance liquidity pool. Absolutely wild. And this was from 2018, the first one. And then this one was from August of 2022, nearing the end of August. The connections here are wild. And then I responded back to Cowboy Crypto. I said, don't forget this announcement, though, with Volante collaborating with Citi for global ISO 20022 migration. VolPay has direct exposure to Ripple's payment solution. So check this out. So this was from January of 2021. Volante extends collaboration with Citi for global ISO 20022 migration. Volante Technologies, the global leader in cloud payments and financial messaging, and Citi Treasury and Trade Solutions are deepening their long-standing relationship to accelerate the bank's adoption of ISO 20022 financial messaging standard across its global payments operations. As a result of this collaboration, Citi will be the first Volante customer to offer a unified approach to ISO 20022 migration across the globe. What do you see? Citi will be building its core ISO 20022 capability using Volante's VolPay for ISO 20022 migration solution, which, yes, I have that over here. We will talk about that. This solution will enable the sending and receiving of ISO 20022 messaging or messages, and also enable the usage of ISO 20022 enhanced data throughout the transaction lifecycle for sanctions screening, AML monitoring, reporting, and reconciliation. VolPay is well positioned to support the complexity and global scope of change that Citi requires for ISO 20022 adoption within the mandated timelines. Predefined ISO 20022 canonical schema, which cover Swift CBPR Plus and multiple payment schemes, make it easier to onboard new schemes and countries onto the solution. And we do see that the global head of technology said Volante's payments processing solutions are already an integral part of our payments. Key word there, that they're already being utilized, and transaction banking platforms. Using this technology will allow us to simplify the complexity of mandatory ISO 20022 migrations across the many markets in which we operate. We will be able to serve our clients even better by catering to their complex needs. Significant changes are on the horizon for banks and financial institutions, with ISO 20022 migration mandates raising a multitude of operational, infrastructural, and technical challenges. Helping banks rise to the challenge and enabling them to meet critical deadlines without slowing down modernization efforts will be key to their success. Moreover, by deploying VolPay for ISO 20022 migration, bank treasury teams will be able to offer rich value-added data services to their corporate clients, simplifying reconciliation effort, improving straight-through processing, and reducing fraud. Now, yes, as we do know, Volante already has connections to over 125 banks, financial institutions, market infrastructures, clearinghouses, and corporate treasuries in 35 countries. Our solutions and services process millions of transactions and trillions of dollars in value every single day, powering 4 of the top 5 corporate banks, 40% of all U.S. commercial bank deposits, and 70% of worldwide card traffic. Now, we already know that Volante has exposure to Ripple, which we will get to here in a second, but this is the ISO 20022 migration system, solutions for Swift, Fedwire, Euro1, T2, and other clearing infrastructures. And we do see 50% of average customer savings in cost and time using Volante. We can see all financial institutions need an ISO 20022 solution. This is talking more so about, including Swift for cross-border payments. ISO 20022 modernization offers significant opportunities in the form of improved straight-through processing, richer payment data, and enhanced interoperability. Banks face implementation challenges because of ISO 20022 deadlines, migration strategies, and rulebooks vary by Swift and payment market infrastructures. Also, modernizing is easier and faster than you think. With VolPay, keyword there, VolPay, it's possible to address the complex challenges of ISO 20022 migration programs with minimal impacts to existing systems, whatever the deadlines. It's the best interest of banks and financial institutions to begin their ISO 20022 migration journey now. But what is absolutely wild about all of this? So here is their ISO 20022 solution. So you have the standards compliance, the legacy application management, the modernized payments as well. It's all 3 crucial steps around the solution. Only Volante and VolPay for ISO 20022 migration can help you with the entire ISO 20022 migration lifecycle, from standards compliance through to payments modernization. And here is their this is their migration itself. So you can see the bank systems, the sanctions, fraud, liquidity, operation or optional interfaces. These are the optional services. You have the core services up here as well. You have the distribution roles. Again, these are the major ones. By the way, others under distribution roles is key because that's where Ripple comes into play. I'll talk to you guys about that here in a second. You have the partner banks, clearinghouses, market infrastructures, all that kind of stuff. What's wild? What is wild about all of this? So here you can see the features and all that kind of stuff, the technology, supported message standards. You can also see the benefits, all of that. This supports literally everything. You can see the benefits over here in terms of the actual system. Rapid implementation, live in 12 weeks. Here's why Volante. You can learn more down here. Now, if you download this 5 success factors for an ideal ISO 20022 migration, a guide for banks. This is literally a guide for banks and financial institutions, mind you, right? So go check this out. And within this, This is wild. So first off, here's the introduction around it. So we do see the payments migration by SWIFT to ISO 20022 has been rightly hailed as a defining moment for the financial services community, which we all know. The new standard promises not only greater interoperability between disparate settlement networks, but also easier global communication, simpler straight-through processing, and more efficient compliance processes in conjunction with emerging instant payment systems. Interesting. Now, within this, there's two mentions of Ripple. One, we have this, which is prepare for an interoperable future. Adopting the standard that is now the de facto messaging standard used by faster/instant payment schemes will help to seamlessly integrate cross-border payments into domestic schemes in the future. Investing in a change of this magnitude will create economic benefits to the payments value chain. It will facilitate the adoption of open banking APIs, which are built on ISO standards format and which will drive end-to-end consistencies. Check this out. They literally are providing us a guide to the Shaping the Future of Cross-Border Payments one-pager by Ripple. The world is converging on a new global standard, ISO 20022, the de facto global data standard for modern payments. To help enable this next step in global interoperability and meet the evolving needs of our customers, Ripple is now part of the ISO 20022 standards body, the first member focused on distributed ledger technology. Interesting. Very interesting. And here we have, join us in the shift to the future. Learn more about ISO 20022 and how Ripple is helping shape the new world of payments, all while reducing operational overhead for financial institutions on RippleNet. Now, within this as well, we do see the movement towards ISO 20022 goes beyond just compliance with a SWIFT or market infrastructure mandate. The payments processing ecosystem is a diverse and ever-changing one. While there are major changes in how payments are going to be made occurring now, there are new entrants, ideas, and innovations that will shape the industry landscape for years to come. A lot can happen in 5 years after all. Very interesting there. Sitting at the heart of that change will be ISO 20022. The standard will bring together disparate systems, standards, and methods from across the globe and tie them together. No greater example of this can be found than in that of Ripple. The perennial SWIFT competitor announced in May 2020 that it would join the ISO 20022 standards body as its first member based on distributed ledger technology. I'm telling you right now, as we are looking at the future of banking, cross-border payments, and the technology that is going to drive the future home around banks and things like that, this is it. In my opinion, there's no doubt about it around what Ripple is doing with XRP and digital assets. And I do believe that Volante is a crucial player. I mean, this is literally a guide for banks and institutions, and we see Ripple mentioned twice here. And the areas that which it is being mentioned is talking about these new infrastructures. We are seeing it being called, like Ripple's now being called a SWIFT competitor in here. I know that it's been, for years and years, but it's kind of crazy to see it being called that from a name like Volante, which does have a very, very large following around the banking and the financial institutional sector. It's crazy. It really is crazy to see what's happening right now around payments. And the overall, I will say this, the overall community around XRP has been laughed at and just kind of, I would say, clowned on for so long. And now we're starting to see things moving extremely fast around the space. We're starting to see things kind of fall into place as well. And it seems like it's all focused on what Ripple is doing. But also, right, like as we do look at VolPay, which is a crucial piece of the puzzle for all of this, as we do scroll down here, like, they're talking about VolPay within this. Sorry, I kind of lost my place after going into that PDF file, but we see moreover by deploying VolPay for ISO 20022 migration. If you actually look at if we actually go over here to VolPay, we do see cloud native payment solutions for banks and financial institutions. 100 plus financial institutions of all sizes worldwide power their payments processing with Volante and VolPay. And we do see the world of payments is changing rapidly. Real-time instant payments, ISO 20022, and modern cross-border schemes are revolutionizing clearing and settlement. Open banking is creating new opportunities and new competitors. With the Internet of Things, any connected device can be a customer experience channel. But you see, banks must innovate to stay relevant in this world. To grow market share, they must bring new services to market faster, and they need to do so while managing ever-increasing transaction volumes, driving down cost, raising margins, and staying compliant. To meet today's business challenges, banks need tomorrow's payments technology. That's why we built VolPay. Cloud native and API ready, VolPay unifies end-to-end processing of domestic and international payments wherever your bank does business. And here we have VolPay, the complete ecosystem business services for payments modernization in your cloud or ours. And remember, we already know that when we look at VolPay, they are processing $1.4 trillion per day by a single customer in a single day. They're processing 1.4 trillion by a single customer in one single day. Fastest implementation in the industry, 90 days or less. Trusted payments technology partner to 4 of the top 5 corporate banks. First SEPA transaction in the Microsoft Azure cloud. First US TCH RTP payment in history. You can see the benefits here. Build new real-time 24/7 customer experiences, accelerate corporate onboarding, improve time to value for new products, lower cost of payments infrastructure, speed up regulatory compliance, unlock the power of payments data, increase straight-through processing. You can see the deployment, private cloud, public cloud, hybrid models as a service, on-premise, technology, cloud native, microservices based, real-time, built for resiliency and performance, easy to integrate and extend. And then here you have the features: end-to-end payments processing, initiation to clearing and settlement, domestic and cross-border payments, real-time instant, ACH bulk, RTGS wire, Swift GPI, Ripple, Visa B2B, and more. Over 100 networks support it, ISO 20022 native, 300 plus APIs for open banking. Having exposure here to Ripple, yes, it doesn't mean that they're going to be utilizing Ripple entirely or at all. I'm just saying that they have the exposure to. And we already know that Ripple is one of the most, if not it is the most efficient payment network and has the most incredible payment technology out there compared to Swift GPI, Visa, and more. What's wild about this is that, a lot of people have written off VolPay and Volante, and they don't care about what Volante is doing. But in my opinion, under cross-border payments, you see Ripple being mentioned. And we know that when we compare Swift, GPI, and Ripple, and all the other ones, we know for a fact that Ripple comes out on top. Ripple has been the key leader around cross-border payments for a while now. And we even do see here, we view Volante as a critical partner for building Ripple's new real-time data-rich payments network. Yes, because this is a network of networks, essentially. And it's one of the largest because they are already moving trillions of dollars per day in payments processing. And also, if you do download this PDF file as well, and you look over here, so frictionless cross-border payments, alternatives to correspondent banking, and you look up Ripple, under cross-border payment networks, the global cross-border payments industry consists of several layers. At the top are the established correspondent banking-based networks, followed by domestic real-time payments infrastructures that are expanding to become regional players. Below those are the existing card schemes and their global networks, and further down the layers are the alternative payment mechanisms such as the money transfer industry. Check this out. Under blockchain-based, you have Ripple with Visa B2B Connect and MasterCard Track. We already know currently, as we do look at crypto and we look at DLT technology and things like that, they are becoming the big player. Blockchain provides transparency, security, and speed that the traditional correspondent banking model cannot provide. That means that we are already faster than the correspondent banking-based ones, which is Swift. Payments can settle in real time without dependence on card numbers or intermediary banks. And again, as we do look at what's happening, I don't believe that Ripple is going to be the only one that is grasping a large amount of this money. Remember, this is a collaborative effort, but we do see down here, a further set of cross-border services come from other providers, including money transfer firms such as Western Union, FX networks such as Currency Cloud, and distributed ledger networks such as Ripple. There are also completely new entities entering the market that attempt to modernize cross-border payment technologies with quicker settlement, greater transparency, and greater reach into emerging markets and regions. So we are seeing the evolution of payments here, and I do believe that Ripple is a direct player here, and I do think that all of these connections back to, of course, Citi, I think that they're very interesting. I can't believe that we missed out on a lot of these connections, and trust me, when I say there's a lot more connections here. I mean, you could clearly see the connections to Citi. There is a few connections to Ripple with Citi directly, going all the way back to 2021, November of 2021. We did see Ripple post real-time payments are gaining momentum and digital currency is positioned to play a significant role in the future. Read to see what others like Citigroup CEO had to say. Here is Citi CEO Fraser. We're building the infrastructure for retail real-time payments. Despite Fraser's certainty that digital assets will play a part of the future of financial services, Citigroup is proceeding with caution in the space due to regulatory uncertainty. Key area there. Citi is working to connect clients to wallets and enable corporate clients to accept consumer payments. The global bank sees benefits from the digital asset space around processing, fractionalization, programmability, and transparency. And we do see it's clear that digital assets will be part of the financial services and financial markets, the future of them. And we do see later adding real-time payments will be here in the near term. The digital currencies may be part of that future. And listen closely.
Jane, I want to ask you about another huge topic, and that is crypto and decentralized finance. And I guess I want to, as a CEO, I can ask you sort of the big strategic question. How do you view this nascent incipient world that is obviously affecting your bank and your business, and how do you plan and move forward?
A topic we spend a lot of time discussing with many of our partners and clients as well. So I think you start off with a premise. It's clear that digital assets will be in part of the financial services and financial markets, the future of them. We already see clients very active in the space. Real-time payments are both in the sense of they're frictionless, they'll become more global, they'll become ubiquitous. Real-time payments will be here in the near term, and digital currencies may be part of that future. We see benefits from the digital asset space, instant processing, fractionalization, programmability, and transparency. Very geeky words for geek like me. I love them, but those are very tangible benefits that come from it. I would say we're proceeding thoughtfully and with appropriate caution here. Why is that? There's still a lot of questions about how the space evolves. Around regulatory clarity, around some of the scalability, around resiliency, certainly around some transparency, and making sure that there are the appropriate guardrails in the system, particularly for our retail clients. We don't want them participating in areas that they're not necessarily as well equipped to understand the risks of. So for me as a CEO, I'm working to connect our clients to wallets. We're enabling our businesses and our corporate clients to accept consumer payments. We're building the infrastructure for retail real-time payments, but we're doing so cautiously because the space is moving so quickly, and not all the guardrails that you would like to see are yet in place. And as a banking CEO, I do believe guardrails are important and necessary for the safety and soundness of the financial system. And so I like them there for resiliency.
So yeah, I do think that when we look at what's happening right now, they are building out this infrastructure for retail, real-time payments. We're doing so cautiously because the space is moving so quickly. So they needed to kind of slow things down. Notice that the only actual currency that's in a lawsuit battle for 2.5 years is XRP. We know that Ripple is obviously tied to it. But outside of that, what's wild is that Ripple has been expanding rapidly, spending a ton of money, splurging money on things like Medico and Bitstamp, all while being in this lawsuit, while the SEC is seeking I think it was like 1.2 or 1.4 billion dollars. I might be wrong. It might be like 1.8, somewhere within that range. If they weren't so confident that they were going to get past this lawsuit in a positive way, then why would they be spending all this money and doing all this stuff if they would have needed that money to settle? It makes no sense. But technically speaking, If you look at all of the connections here, if you look at what Citi has been doing around the future of payments, a 5-step vision of the future of payments, this literally talks about, how COVID-19 has accelerated the push towards digital payments and harnessing, technology to enhance client experiences around digitization. We do see digital payments transformation will accelerate as a result of the crisis. The crisis catalyst is payments or on payments. The use of cash and checks plummeted during lockdowns around the world to be superseded by digital payments. Yes, I mean, as we look at Citi, they're obviously focused on payment digitization. They understand that real-time payments, real-time settlement is crucial. They understand that the technology is here. They are being, in my opinion, as we look at Citi, they have the exposure to Ripple. They have the exposure here. They have it through VolPay or Volante, if you will. They have it through Medico. They have it through they already did experiments with Ripple in the past. So if we look at what's happening here, I'm also focused on this. So this is their roadmap to adoption: operating transformation, collaboration, regulatory support, and then adoption. Within the next couple months, we will see a lot of dramatic changes happening around this world, right? In the next couple years, the change will be dramatic. We will see a lot happening around major players like Citi, for an example. And I think that they understand that it's not Bitcoin. I think that they understand that it's not Ethereum. They even compare one Bitcoin transaction here to 2 months of electricity usage by an average household. So if we actually look at the future of payments and payment technology, and especially crypto, payment technology, digital assets, things like that, it's not Bitcoin, it's not Ethereum. In my opinion, it's things like HBAR, XRP, XLM, things like that. And, even Citi themselves predict that tokenization is going to grow 80 times in private markets. And it's a killer use case, right? It definitely is. We're going to see tokenization. We're going to see CBDCs. We're going to see real-time payments. We're going to see a lot of that happen. And I do think that right now, currently, with all of these connections back to Citi from Ripple, could it be a big nothing? 100%. But when you look at some of these PDF files talking about Ripple in the way that they have, and even going back to, the 5 success factors for an ideal ISO 20022 migration, a guide for banks and institutions, and you see Ripple being mentioned on here as an incredible example of how to tie things together around the globe, around these disparate systems and the standardization and the methods tied to it. It kind of gets you thinking, what are the real plans here? And in my opinion, XRP will be a fundamental shift, and it will play a pivotal role in this drastic change around payments. And that's why I hold it, right? That's why I hold XRP. I know the value tied to XRP. I know what's happening right now around the payments landscape. I know what's happening, on the XRP ledger. The value here is going to be extremely crucial. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. So it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.